Giants, Rockies. Alex Wood going for San Francisco. Senzatela going for the Rocks. If you like the Giants, you got to lay 147 on the road. Rockies plus 132. High total in this game at 12 at Coors Field. Shaded towards the under, minus 115. If you like this one, Jeff, who do you like?
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of keep throwing this out there, okay? Colorado is very good offensively at home and very poor on the road, okay? And when you're just looking at splits, very basic. How many runs does the team score at home? How many runs does the team score on the road? Colorado, 6.26 runs a game at home. On the road, 2.73. I mean, that's about all you need to hear. Throw in the fact that they destroy left-handed pitching. They're hitting 310 against left-handers this year. Look, Alex Wood pitched well the other night against them, but remember, that was in San Francisco. This is just a weird team at home. We know about Denver and the altitude and stuff like that. I bet the over in this game at 11. I'll admit that. Now, BetUS will, and this is the problem sometimes, guys, with the show that we do, okay? I bet this game at 11, okay? It's all about the number. Today, when the pits had to be in, the number was 12. So they say to me, hey, Nadu, you got to bet 12. Well, I don't want to bet 12. I bet 11. That's just how the line moved at BetUS, and that's what we have to do. So what I said to myself is, okay, what do I know and what do I want here? Okay, I want Colorado's offense because I do think they'll hit Wood. And I think they could score some runs against that bullpen a little bit. So I see a team total, and I'm going to play Colorado's team total. I'm trying to understand what exactly the number is because I see 4.5 currently at BetUS. Little juice on that, but either way, 4.5, 5.5, I'm playing it. I like Colorado's lineup at home. Okay, I'll go down with the ship. If they don't get the 6 runs, I'll salute. It is what it is. I will say, and Mark, I think you'll agree, Senzatela, one of the weirdest pitchers in baseball, okay? Because for whatever he doesn't get anyone out from strikeouts. He's got a wild opposing batting average. His opposing batting average is like 450. I mean, he can't keep people off base, yet he hasn't been that bad from a numbers perspective. I feel like his ERA should be 10. So maybe that kind of contends with the argument Mark was making that ERA means ugats in the grand scheme of things. Maybe Mark can talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with using ERA, especially this early in the season, is there's a lot of noise in it. I mean, you put strand rate in, you put double play balls. There's just too much noise in that particular metric. So that's why I don't use it. There's better metrics that you can use as far as if you're trying to look forward. I don't think ERA is a bad descriptive stat. I think from a predictive stat standpoint, it's not the best that you could use. It's probably not one that you want to use in general. So this is a really interesting game for me because if you take out the ballpark factor from the Rockies, and you look at their weighted runs created plus at home, they're about league average. So I would say that they're about a league average team. Just off the top of my head, looking at my numbers, I have them scored a little bit below league average.
Mark, stop with this. Mark, come on, man.
But that's just, I mean,
they're not league average, Mark, at home. They're just not. They score 6.26 runs a game. That's about a run more than anyone else.
I know, but you got to take the park factors out of that. I mean, you can't say that
the park factors at home.
Well, you should though. You should though because it elevates their run production.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. At home, they're really good. That's the point I make. I don't, Mark. I don't even know what are you exactly saying here? So you're saying that they're league average.
So just take the park factor out of that, which the weighted runs created plus does.
I'm betting on the park factor though. That's the point.
You're betting on an average. Okay, okay, that makes sense. You're betting on an average team. They get the park factor advantage in. So if you have average team with the park factor, that doesn't equate to 6 runs. That equates
Mark,
to
again,
whatever.
The number that matters is at an average and median amount of games and the amount of runs they're scoring. They're scoring 6.3 runs a game. That's all I care about. I don't care if they play on Jupiter.
I think that when you're evaluating the Rockies, just my opinion. When you're evaluating the Rockies offense at home, you have to kind of take that park factor out to get like a true picture of what their true talent is. I'm not saying that you shouldn't add that back in when the game's being played. That should obviously be incorporated, but just to get the true talent factor, I think maybe that's where we're disagreeing. You have to take that park factor out of those home stats to kind of compare it to other teams. Like maybe Tampa Bay's home park factor is suppresses runs. So I think that's. I don't think I don't think you'd argue with me about that. You have to kind of take that park factor out to get their true talent.
I gotta be honest, I don't quite understand it, to be fair. That being said, all I care about is that at home.
So would you say that an OPS, a Colorado OPS that's produced in Denver at altitude, and let's say I don't even know what it is because I'm not looking at it, but let's say it's 750, and then
850.
Okay, so and then compare it with the worst park factor. The Rays, do you think that's a fair comparison?
But Mark, here's all I'm saying. Okay, at home, Colorado's OPS is 815. On the road, it's 635. Again, I don't care if they're playing in Saturn.
But you should, because
I don't. At the end of the day, they're very good
so you don't want to use park factors to adjust the raw stats. That's fine. But I actually was going to say something good that ties into your play, and you're playing the Colorado team total over, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so this is interesting because Wood has a large body of work in Colorado. And so we'll just use OPS. He's got 175 plate appearances. His OPS allowed is 866. Horrible. So based on that, and I think that's a decent sample of work. Based on that, I think that plays into your play. All I'm saying, Jeff, is I think that however you do it, you have to account for the fact that Colorado does have altitude, and does if you're a hitter there, Mark, your numbers are going to be elevated.
Mark. That's the thing. I 100% agree with you. That's why at the beginning of the when I mentioned this, I said at home. Like, I know that the reason that they do so well is because they're at home. I also mentioned that on the road, they're awful. And that's the true body of who they are as a team, Mark. I 100% agree. The only time I bet on Colorado, when you look at my show here, I only bet them at home. And I've also bet unders when they're on the road because they're shockingly bad. The true essence of who they are, they're not a good team at all, at any level. I just know their offense at home.
I'll simplify it for you right here. The Rockies in the last 3 games have scored 10, 10, and 7. Right. So, and that's what Jeff's banking on.
So that's 3 games. So you're going to judge a team based on 3 games, TC? Well, no, I'm not trying to throw shade at you, but that's what you're doing.
The whole year at home.
That's what I just gave you 3. I just gave you the facts of Jeff is betting over 4.5. I don't agree or disagree. Colorado's let's look at the big picture here. Colorado has lost 6 of their last 7 games. They're horrendous. The Giants had lost their last 2 after winning 6 in a row. 3 of those 6 were in San Francisco against the Rockies. But so I have no dog in this fight. Jeff is betting over 4.5 runs. I'm just saying the last 3 runs, they've scored 10, 10, and 7. So looks pretty wise. I want no part of this Colorado Rocky team, period, because they stink right now. So I don't know what you're inferring that I'm trying to say.
I'm just saying that you should make an assumption based on 3 games.
In their last 3 games at home.
Mark, we're not doing that. Mark, you're again missing. This is weird thing about you, Mark. You're missing the point. At the whole season, they're averaging 6.3 runs a game at home.
Okay, so I'm not. No, Jeff, I'm not missing the point because.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, go to Fangraphs. Go sort for home offense at home, and Fangraphs and you can argue with how they use weighted runs created plus, but they take this weighted runs created plus takes the home field park factor into effect. So you do a sort and you look at the 30 teams, and Colorado's 105 in weighted runs created plus. So they're like a league average team, and that's the only point that I'm trying to make based on the Fangraphs weighted runs created plus stat, which is really the only one that's publicly available where that takes out the park factor.
BaseWinner, a guy that in over 20 years their stats coagulated where it makes it clear that at home everyone knows Colorado's great at home, but for whatever reason Mark Borchard thinks they're average. Fair enough.
I don't. It's a Fangraphs weighted runs created plus. You can argue with Fangraphs weighted runs created plus. Argue with it.
Last thing I'll say is, Mark, no offense, it's stupid. I don't care about it. It means 0. Ugats means 0. It means 0 to me.
So park factors park factor doesn't mean anything to you when you're handicapping games.
Obviously it does, but whatever you're talking about with weight, that means nothing to me. I would
Okay.
never look at
All
it.
right,
I think it means
All right.
it's
All right,
almost
so
like
here's
it's
the
like
bottom
shot
line,
clock.
guys.
It
The
means
bottom
nothing.
line is, Jeff, you like the Rockies over 4.5, correct?
Yes.
And Mark doesn't. But I think
Is it
we're getting
4.5? I like the Rockies over 4.5 too.
Okay, then why are we
Oh, I think
spending
it's 5.
5
Isn't it
minutes
5.5?
debating? If someone makes a play on this show,
I thought it was
just seems like-
5.5.
It seems like you want to disparage it or something.
What's the
if he
team
likes
total?
to play,
I want to
he
know what
likes
the
to
team
play,
total is. I want to know what the team total is.
You don't need to disparage it and then turn around and say, "Oh, I agree with that."
It's 4.5, but it's 130. They're striking a little bit to the over. It is 5.5, but I'll lay a little juice on 4.5.
Here's a big question: is Alex Wood going to show up
Is it
tonight?
no, I want to know, is it 4.5 or 5.5? That's a big difference.
Mark, I just said 4.5 minus 130.
Is that that's not what you're betting it on the show?
That's what I see right now, and that's what I have to I'm trying to understand that. Okay, it's 5.5. They say whatever. Listen, this is the problem, guys. Sometimes with this show, they won't give me the number that it's currently at. I don't know what, Yet
well,
I have to.
that is a problem, Jeff, because if it's 4.5, it's one
this
thing.
Needs to be up to and I'm not trying to be difficult. I know it's hard, and we have graphics and stuff. But all due respect, I'm putting my record out there, and I had to do it in basketball. I had to do it in baseball. It should be the number that it is right now. I can't. It's hard for me to continue to do this where I'm betting 11. The next day it's 12. Okay, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, and see that's the thing, with prop numbers. I mean, prop numbers, they fluctuate a lot. I mean, on game day and hours before the game goes. So that's what's difficult when you're going to make prop bets like this. So yeah, I don't know. You're right though. There has to be a number. It has to be solidified at some point in time. So I don't know what.
Oh, I'm seeing Jeff. I'm seeing 4.5 minus 130. Yeah.
If it's 5, listen. If it's 5.5, it is what it is. I'll bet that. I'm confident that this group can score some runs today.
Jeff, I hope they score at least 7. Then it's a moot point.
Yeah, Jeff, I hope you win your bet too. I'm not saying that it's a bad play. I'm just saying I think you got to account for altitude when you're making it.
Last thing I'll say, I am. That's why I'm betting it. All
right, that's fine.
I'm betting it.
Okay.
All right, we're locking Jeff in. We're locking him in at. If the number is Colorado team total 5.5, 4.5,
whatever.
I know. There it is. Let's move on.
I'm sure they'll score 5, and I'll.
If they score 6, you're good. What if they score 5?
If they score 5, headsets are being thrown tomorrow over the Nadu compound. There it is.
Absolutely.
They're going to score 5.
If they score 5,
they're going to.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeff will be over at the Philadelphia 76er complex with all kinds of other irate people. There you go.